Hey guys, I'm here. Welcome back. Today we are taking a trip back to Westeros as we kick off the start of Season 2 of House of the Dragon. If you haven't seen our reactions to Season 1, go check those out. But with that all said, I want to just go ahead and get right into this. So if you want to see the full length reaction, as always, you can check it out over on Patreon, or if you become a member of the channel, get you access as well. It is a watch-along format, so you will need your own footage to sync up the time codes for reaction the entire episode. Over there, you get the same thing for all the other shows and movies that we cover in the channel. You also get to suggest and vote what movies to react to each month. We got monthly Q&As, behind-the-scenes footage to try to make it worth your while, since you're going to be a sport channel. But guys, at the end of the day, I really appreciate it. Enjoy this reaction. To at least leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're not already. And with that all said out of the way, let's get ready to jump into Episode 1. Here we go. Oh, we have a new opening. Oh, it's like a tapestry being woven. That is wicked. It's like a bunch of little worms crawling around to make these images.
Duty is sacrifice. It eclipses all things, even blood. All men of honor must pay its price. The North owes a great duty to the Seven Kingdoms. One older than any oath. Since the days of the first men, we have stood as guardians against the cold and the dark. Through its long tradition, the Night's Watch cultivated its strength from doomed men. But my ancestor, Torrhen Stark, began a tradition by making an offering at the onset of winter. 1 in 10 men from our household was to be chosen to fortify the Watch.
Oh, wow.
A duty embraced by all who serve the North. Even by mine own kin, the North must stand ready. Winter is coming.
Coming? What is this then?
This is only a late summer snow, my prince. In winter it will cover all you see.
It pleases me to think that over a century ago our ancestors treated in this very place.
You at least had the mercy not to threaten me with your dragon.
If my mother is to defend her claim, to hold the realm united, she needs an army. War is coming. To the whole of the realm, my lord. We cannot wage it without the support of the North.
Man, look at that. Good times out here, man. Good times.
His grace stood at this very outlook and watched as their dragons, the greatest power in the world, refused to cross it. Do you think my ancestors built a 700-foot wall of ice to keep out snow and savages?
What does it keep out?
Death.
Yeah.
I have thousands of greybeards who have already seen too many winters. They are well honed.
If your greybeards can fight, the Queen will have them.
They will fight hard, like Northerners.
I love the North, man.
Urgent news from Dragonstone.
Oh, his brother. I imagine it's news about what happened to his brother, at least. Became worm food in 2 senses of the phrase.
We're going to King's Landing. With my dragon and yours together, we can kill Vhagar and her rider. Make it a son for a son.
Was this the Queen's command?
The Queen remains absent. I should be at Harrenhal bending knees, but I must instead remain here to wage her war. She has been gone for days. Too long. She is exposed.
She is grieving.
The mother grieves as the Queen shirks her duties.
It was a raven that brought me news of Rhaenyra's death. I existed for weeks in torment, refusing to believe what I'd been told. It was only when I saw my daughter's mortal remains that I could begin to mourn her. A raven has told Rhaenyra that her son is dead. She needs to know it for certain.
I mean, how in the world would they have gotten the remains for you to fulfill what you're trying to describe here? I don't...
If you'd have acted when you had the chance, Aegon's line would be extinguished. And Luke would be alive.
Yeah, he's got you there.
It is a command.
Would that you were the king.
Oof. Echo of his life, man. Oh. Man, I don't know how she would get the same semblance of peace. Not in the same way, at least. Dude, I gotta say, I would get so annoyed just hearing my lord walking past every single human being.
I must have my ship back at sea. To lead.
Oh, God. Well, there's a lot of work left to be done on this thing, man.
The smithy delivered this earlier. I had this commission for Prince Larys.
Oh.
I was very sorry to hear about your heir's death. They tell me that you're the one that dragged my body out of the sea. It was only my duty. I am indebted to you, Alan.
Is it Alan or Alan? I know hindsight's 20/20 and all that, but I do get why she didn't just cook them at the stake when she had the chance. In that moment, I get it. Again, just like working with foreknowledge and stuff like that, it just sucks. Especially if you start replaying events, trying to like re-examine your choices and what if I had done this, that, and the other. That can be its own sense of torture. For a second, I thought they were just doing target practice, like it was a pretend scenario, until we actually panned around and saw Vhagar incoming.
I'm afraid.
They'd be fools to come with Vhagar protecting the city.
Not the dragons. The rats.
I love her vagaries, man. Get it. Oh, this fucker.
We cannot. Again.
There's some rats, but I doubt that is what she was talking about. And naturally, guys, my memory may be a little vague, and I apologize. So if it takes me a minute to remember a couple things, please let me know what I forget or miss or whatever in the comments down below. I'd really appreciate it. Helps me out a lot.
But we... Yeah. Thank you, my prince. That's very helpful.
My nephew, Lord Ormond, musters his forces to sally forth from Old Town.
Perhaps your grace might lend his voice to our outreach.
Enough.
In hopes that new terms might be negotiated.
He's getting way too much enjoyment out of this. He's not paying attention at all.
Because I think he wants a ride. Wouldn't that be fun, Jaehaerys? Should the Master of Coin be your royal steed?
Your grace. There are important matters to discuss. Despite Sir Tyland's interruptions.
Very well.
Rude.
Rhaenyra's blockade has placed King's Landing under strain, and those pressures will multiply quickly.
Well, we should have just killed her when we had the chance.
Regrettably, the opportunity for surprise has been lost.
Funny how that could go both ways at this point.
The River Lords will either declare for me, or they will meet Vhagar and Sunfire together. And we can burn the blockade while we're at it.
Rhaenyra has dragons as well.
Mine are bigger.
If we loose the dragons to war, there'll be no calling them back. We must proceed cautiously.
Fat old Lord Tully will either raise my banner or see his burn.
You are the king, Your Grace. You must not put yourself at risk.
And Vhagar is needed here to deter Rhaenyra from attacking, in retribution for the death of her son.
Put that smirk away.
You've already demonstrated your might, Your Grace. We must now favor patience and restraint. I send ravens by the hour. Many and more houses will declare to you in time.
The way he slunk into his seat at that phrase. It's like, oh, restraint? That's boring.
I had come earlier to have a word before the small council convened, but your handmaiden said that you were indisposed.
Yeah, about that.
I have completed questioning the whole of the castle staff. They produced rather interesting details, but I am satisfied I have exposed all who betrayed our trust.
And what of them?
They no longer breathe our air. I've chosen your new staff personally.
God damn. That's a guy you're gonna have to keep an eye on, man. I think she knows that, but like, just, you know, putting that back out there, though. She's really scrubbing that spot. Just waiting for people to scoop up pieces from the battle. Well, battle, if you could even call it that. Yeah. Arm, probably. Oh, or just his cloak. Well, I mean, at least she's got something to get that release and closure.
King Aegon. Aegon the Magnanimous.
The Magnanimous?
I just came up with it on the fly. We'll workshop it later.
Let's have the first petition, my good Lord Hand.
'Tis my flock, a tenth of them taken by the crown on the cusp of winter. If I'd had the time to plan,
We should return them.
Your Grace?
You need your goats for the winter, don't you?
We already made a promise to all the Crown lands that a tithing of livestock would be necessary to sustain the dragons.
Perhaps we could just return his sheep. He came all this way.
If you return one herd of sheep, Your Grace, you'll soon find them all at the foot of your throne expecting the same.
They won't know.
When the king speaks, Your Grace, all hear it.
Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong, but he's just like, well, they're here. He walked all this way. I'd like to help.
If war were to break out, my dragons will require feed. Bring the next.
Damn.
The Smiths are all proud to support Your Grace against Rhaenyra.
But
iron costs have grown. If we could but have the crown's coin before we started work, it would bring great relief. Not just to me, but to all the Smiths serving your cause.
Payments up front.
you shall be paid, and paid well. My army cannot win a war without your weapons. You should continue their making. Our victory depends on the efforts of the small folk.
You have my most sincere gratitude, Your Grace.
I mean, I feel like he's got his head on straight when it comes to certain things, and maybe a little too, honestly, surprisingly compassionate, even if it may have been just to be seen as gracious and in the eyes of the people that made the trip. Maybe a little naive about how things work and stuff like that, but it's more than I expected.
Is the Hand's want to keep a firm grip on things? You controlled your father the same way. Viserys had a certain reputation as being pliable.
I am aware.
I would think, as we find ourselves standing within a hair's breadth of war, that you would wish to be viewed differently.
How?
Otto Hightower was your father's hand, Your Grace.
He's not gonna like that if he follows through. He's basically like, hey, he worked for your dad. If you want to be seen differently, you should probably also have a different hand.
Daughter.
I requested an audience hours ago. I find myself wondering, do we pursue the same end?
No.
Then be my ally.
I am.
An ally would not repeatedly cut my legs from beneath me at that table of men. My sons both see you as the great example. The Hand to 3 kings. Aegon is ever eager to prove himself, and Aemond, what he did, however vicious...
The caprice of youth.
I can only hope.
It's definitely one way to brush that off.
But if you undermine my voice, both those boys will grow deaf to it.
She's not wrong.
I hadn't seen it that way.
We only need to mind Aegon until the novelty of rule is spent. Once he tires of it, you and I can steer our cause to victory.
A fine strategy, but you must accept that the path to victory now is one of violence.
But that does not mean it must be wanton.
Yeah. It still shatters me that this is all under a simple misunderstanding because of Viserys's waning consciousness, spouting shit out, and just all of it getting misinterpreted. I mean, not all of this is that, but that a large part of her motivation right now is all based on those words that were not meant for her at all.
You.
When last we met, there were 2 of you.
Oh.
The White Worm.
You put Aegon on the throne.
That was the High Tower's conspiracy. I merely profited from knowing Aegon's movements.
But you delivered him.
Simply spit the business along.
Business that ended with the theft of the Queen's throne and the murder of her son.
You only blame me because your true enemies are out of reach. My arrangement with the Hand was purely transactional. I held no loyalty to him.
But the lady speaks the truth. She was no agent of the Hightowers.
What is it to you?
A matter of honor.
Was it honor that made you stand by and watch as the Hightowers usurped the throne? You and your traitorous twin?
No, my prince. I'm shamed by it. That's why I abandoned the King's Guard.
He just needs people to blame for all of this stuff, man.
Aegon was in your grasp. You should have killed him yourself.
I reckon our names of the King's Guard are just 8 and 10. And we swore the same oath.
God, man, he's just gonna keep repeating that. You should have done this. You should have done that. You should have done this. I get it. I think he's just so, he needs to put blame somewhere else because I think he's so frustrated with his own inability to get the vengeance that they need or to have been able to have been in a position to take the actions that he feels were necessary. He's taking it out on the people that had these opportunities, and again, in hindsight, you know, carry a whole different light.
Did you find what you needed? Your counsel stands at the ready, Your Grace. I will fly to Harrenhal at your command and set our toehold in the Riverlands.
My lord husband's blockade of the gullet moves into place. All seaborne travel and trade to King's Landing will soon be cut off.
I want Aemond Targaryen.
That is all. Make it happen. Make it so. Bring me that bastard's head.
In your years as merchant of gossip, you surely accumulated spies within the Red Keep.
Scheme with someone else, Daemon. I was once in your thrall, but no longer.
A transaction, then. Your knowledge in exchange for your freedom.
I mean, any of the people that may have worked with her or delivered information, I'm almost certain have been weeded out by snaky, creepy foot guy.
Lady Jane Arryn has pledged her support in exchange for a dragon to guard the Vale. And Lord Quickenstart
No.
has promised 2,000 men.
Larys Targaryen.
Cyrus Florian.
It sucks, man, because they both still really, really care, but this is so far out of their hands at this point. They're both mothers. They both lament this senseless death.
I'm told you bear a mislike for the Hightowers.
Fuck the Hightowers.
The White Worm said you're one of Aegon's rat catchers. This is my friend. Tonight he's going to be your friend. You're to find and slay the Prince Aemond Targaryen.
Oh, shit.
It's one half. If we get the other one, it's done.
All right.
It's not going to be that easy, man.
What if we can't find him?
She has a gentle heart, and Rhaenyra is a cunning spider. Long ago, she drew Alicent into her web, intoxicated her.
Dude, the way he talks about her is, he's just so, he's so scorned. I hope nothing bad happens to the dog, man. But I'm not getting my hopes up.
My nephew's already taken that one.
Which would your grace prefer?
It's a king.
Loved or feared?
I need to be both.
My mother and grandsire.
They're just all hanging out of the throne, getting wasted.
No one knows what magnanimous means.
Meet Aegon the Generous, then. That would charm the small folk.
I like that.
Is there more strong one? Aegon the Dragonheart.
That's it.
Viserys.
before we get upstairs.
The royals live up there. Where it's off limits it is. Different group of rat catchers work the upstairs.
If we're to kill a royal fucking prince, where do you think we're gonna find him?
I thought the rest was your bet.
I could end you right here.
I know my way upstairs. I just don't know my way around.
Show me.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, I just hope you die now. That's some bullshit. I mean, maybe she was talking about the actual rats, because these things are everywhere.
The royals live on this level.
And the fucking discordant music playing in right now, man, it's just getting my nerves a-flaring.
No one's here.
We need to keep looking.
What if he's already taken his dragon and went off to go do something? Oh, great. She is long gone.
Stay still.
Oh, wow.
She's the queen, she is.
A son for a son, he said.
I think they definitely specified which son they wanted.
They both look the same. Which one's a boy?
Maybe that one.
You look for a cock. Do anything but what I ask, and I'll bleed the whole lot of you. Which?
I have a necklace.
That's not a son.
Someone's gonna get stabbed in the back or through the face, have their face split in half. Someone's just gonna get randomly axed in like a abrupt ass way real soon.
It's the other one. She's not gonna give up the king's heir that easy.
God, this is getting drawn out so long. It's fucking wrecking my brain right now, man.
She's telling true.
Hold him down.
What makes you think that? Oh wow, this is fucked. Oh my god. Why are they making such a thing of this? What is going, what are they doing? Oh. Wow. Thing is, was she actually telling the truth or not? But that wasn't who they were sitting here to get, man.
Helena.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Oh yeah, what happened to this not happening again, guys? Huh?
They killed the boy.
Oh, they fucking did. Oh, wow. That shit. Fuck. Was that unsettling? The music, the editing, like the structuring of all these scenes, the long drawn out little like pauses as people are making the decisions, trying to read the situation, engage and evolve with everything that's going on, changing up their entire plans in the moment. I was wholeheartedly waiting for the one dude, the guy that brought them in, not the King's Guard guy, but the scraggly guy with the debts, the gambler that Daemon was paying off to get them in here, when he was trying to read, you know, her expressions to try to gauge whether or not she's telling the truth, whatever. Every time we held on him trying to like just take in the situation, I wholeheartedly expected, you know, kind of like with what Daemon did to the one guy in the throne room, like while he was in mid-sentence, just whap! God slicing his head, his skull clean in two. I was expecting somebody to do the exact same to him, or a fucking blade to come poking through the back of his skull. I was wholly expecting in one of these moments to just get jump scared by a blade splitting this guy in some way, shape, or form, and that just didn't happen. But the way they were told specifically to get the one son, the specific son, they were like, yeah, any son will do, I guess. Well, I guess there was that long pause that Daemon gave where he gave them that look up, that glance up when they were like, well, what if we can't find him? And we didn't get or hear like a response. So the guy did say when they were in there, though, you know, he said a son for a son. So I thought they were just trying to say, well, we could call it even. But I guess maybe what he meant was that was what we didn't hear. That would also line up as well. It's like, well, if we can't get him, we'll take any of them. It's something. It's consolation, I guess. Maybe that's how that was meant to be read. And what they bring in the head? Were they sawing the head off? They were just hacking away at someone. Dude, and just the sounds of them hacking away at this fucking kid, man. Thank goodness they didn't show that shit, but my God, the sounds alone and the way that just infects the imagination and makes your brain conjure up the images instead, it's almost worse. Fantastic lead-in, man, to seeing the consequences of the final episode of the previous season, the way that this is really shaking up both sides, the way they've locked things down. I'm not exactly sure how much time has passed since the end of the last episode to now. Moments where it felt like a lot of times passed, and there's some moments where it felt like this is like the same day or next day, like when her other son, you know, is off in the north and then just getting the raven while she's been lamenting for a time about all of it. Obviously, news travels at different speeds depending on where you are here. Naturally. It takes a minute for news to get to the north, so who knows? If anybody can help me wrap my head around the exact time frame here, not that it matters all that much. I'm mostly just curious. Either way, the framing is set up perfectly with where we are. In hindsight, with another family member out of the picture, rightfully so, everybody's upset. Daemon, being the hothead that he is very upset by his own powerlessness, that I feel like that's one of the main reasons why he's really coming down on everybody else. You know, when Rhaenys came back from like her patrol and he was like, you should have burned them when you had a chance. No, yeah, in hindsight, for sure. In the moment, did you really want to spark up a war just right there on the cusp of all this other tension, especially on your own accord, not on the behalf of anybody else? You know, that was just her trying to get her dragon back and get out of this kind of political prison she found herself in King's Landing. Was it her place to do that in that moment? One would argue differently, or potentially in other routes there in the moment. But like I said, after certain events have unfolded, in hindsight, sure, you're going back through things. You're like, man, if we had only done this thing here. It's just him just being frustrated with the position that they're in and their inability for him to get that bloodlust out that he's got, that anger and that frustration and that need for vengeance. I like seeing the way that's kind of weighed on everybody very differently. You know, and then he comes out on the other Kingsguard guys, you know, the twins, you know, the one that's left, and then talking about, you should have done this when you had the chance. Well, everybody should have done something when they had the chance at any point in time. That's the nature of the decisions we make in hindsight. It's the curse of looking back with knowledge you currently have, you know. You know, I gotta say, like, it is lucky as all hell that any bit of the dragon managed to watch up for Rhaenyra to get this closure that she needed. You know, like Rhaenys said, like when she lost her own, like she couldn't wrestle with it or come to terms with it until she saw the remains. The thing was, though, given the situation, the height, the storm, and obviously flying over the water, chances of that were actually very slim, next to impossible. But fate gave her something. Luck gave her something. It was this wing and the cloak. And it at least let her know that this thing did happen. The dragon did fall. Now, it's not like his overt body or anything like that, but I think that was enough to really spark this closure for her, as well as this fire to get Aemon's head. You know, as much as now as, you know, the sisters that they were, the love that they had for one another, how much that really was kind of like the one tiny little sliver of peace, kind of holding things together, very crudely holding some semblance of a stalemate in place because of their own mutual respect for one another. They're trying to play things right, play things level-headed, not giving in to emotions too much and stuff. And out of that respect for one another, they're trying to give each other their own chances, even though they're ideologically completely opposed to one another based off of this misunderstanding. Viserys, man, you really fucked up. Not that he was in his state of mind to be really blamed for that, but it just sucks how things played out because he wanted wholeheartedly for Rhaenyra to follow suit, to be left with everything. And unfortunate, very, very unfortunate. But Alicent's still like grieving for her own son. You know, when she went to the sept to pray for them all, and she included Larys in her prayer. At this point, it's too late. Your own fucked up kids have already fucked up this situation, and Rhaenyra is going to come to fuck everything up even more. And Daemon's taking swings on his own accord by going in here and cohorting with the rats and trying to like get his vengeance in his own way. You know, getting in there with the people that he still knows on the inside, using the contacts from this dealer of secrets, trying to capitalize on that, and again trying to exert some level of control and power of the situation, get around his helplessness in the situations from before. Cole and fucking Aemond are also trying to like plot their own stratagems behind the backs of the king and the table and all this stuff, because they're again men of action. They just want to get out there and stab some stuff. You know, they're ready to do what they do, and that's why they're in this position to begin with. And again, the way that Christian Cole talks about Rhaenyra, and that she's a manipulative, little deceptive, blah, 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 she's got her in her web, and he's so fucking butthurt still. It's pathetic. It seriously is. It's hilarious, though. And then the fact that he's just continuously shacking up with Alicent now, too, is kind of funny. Yeah, I don't remember this being planned before. Did this happen in the gap? Because I don't remember it in the previous episodes where Helena and Aegon married. I don't remember all of that. Yeah, I don't know. Like, did I forget anything? Maybe I did. Probably did. I'm not going to pretend that I remember every detail of the last season immediately right now, but I definitely feel like I don't remember that. Aegon does have a little bit of that Viserys energy to him, but he's still in this state where he can be cultivated. He's still very immature. He's still like excited about his position, lording his power around, but he's also trying to be generous. He's trying to be a yes man to all these people, because I think he just wants people to like him. I think he's like, I'm the king. I can give you guys what you want. But he's trying to like, just like, hey, we don't need this stuff. You need it more than we do. But then fucking Otto's just like, actually, we kind of do need all this stuff because we're at war, dragons we're going to feed. If we're going to keep up this fight, we need this stuff. We can't be giving everybody something, because the second you do, that word's going to get out and other people are going to expect it, and then it's just going to weaken us even further. So he was trying to be kind and generous in all these kind of ways, and I may have been self-serving for him to do so, but it's more than I expected. Like, he was actually thinking about people other than themselves, at least in some sense, which I really didn't expect from the way he was set up in the last season at all, for him to carry on like that at all. But then you have Foot Guy coming in. Again, it's going to take me a minute to remember some of the names. Seeing him coming in here and be like, you really want to be like Viserys, or do you want to stand out? He kind of implied about sacking Otto as the hand and replacing him with someone else. I wonder if he put his own name in that hat or whatever, but I don't know. We'll see how that all goes. Fun little setup for the season so far. Excited to see where things go, but guys, what did you think? Sound off the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll carry the conversation after the video. Hope you enjoyed the reaction. If you did, leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're not already. Remember to see the full length reaction. As always, you can check it out over on Patreon, or if you're a member of the channel, get you access as well. And speaking of before we go, I want to shout out our channel legends. Manny Sherritt, Your Course Scott, Melito, Robert Anguiano, Jeffrey Hale, Jake Contrell, Eric Official, Casey Wood, and Russell Crockett. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. But that's it for this video, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everybody.